You ever notice left hand does not know what right hand is going on and doing? Welcome to the Philippines. You never know what's going to happen. Today I went online. Uh, Last week I contacted the Bureau of Immigration and they said, yes, you still have to fill out what they call an e-services form. Go back online like you did last year. Put in your date and time and schedule an appointment for you to come to the Bureau of Immigration for your annual uh, dues for your visa. So I went online this morning and booked the time, and then all of a sudden it just booked it automatically. And guess what? Didn't say date or time or anything. So I went back on there, and it said January 27th in Manila. You have no way of knowing. So I said something's not right. What is right? So I said, okay, today I'll let me go back and research it. Well, as of May of last year, May of 2022, you no longer need it. The only ones that need it are the ones that come in the country that are non-vaccinated. Rules change constantly. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what is the truth. So, so I thought, this morning, I'd just go there. And then I thought, no, no, no. They were turning away people last year. They were actually turning people away that were there. Nope, you got to come back. He said, I'm 5 hours by boat here. And in this CDO. Guy says, I'm sorry, you got to come back. So I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to go over there back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. But there you go. Also, Bureau of Immigration intercepted a Canadian. He was possessing multiple travel documents, including the Philippine passport. According to the report from the Travel and Control Committee there in Manila, he was trying to attempt to depart for Taiwan on EVA air flight and heading out of Manila. He presented a Philippine passport and he could not speak any kind of language at all. He could not speak Filipino or Philippine dialect. So the Canadian man with multiple passports, many different passports, and he unable to answer basic questions about his needs and what he's going to do. So they actually revealed they went back in the database more in depth, and he had multiple travels to the country, including in Hong Kong, and he held a passport for there and a residence visa there, and of course he had one for Thailand. Upon interview, he admitted that he was not that he was his lawyer's fault for doing it wrong. So they think it was fraudulently acquired. So they held him. So Canadian man tried to get away with doing that. So you would want to try to make sure that that you file out the reports for the online extensions and online things that you need to fill out and do it properly. Now, what they started doing also is if you're upon entry here, tourists coming into the country for a short period of time and they want to extend their stay, they can actually file the application online. They don't have to go back to the BI. As you know, you get a 28-day, 29-day, depending on the time of entry. You get a visa. Well, here they started a new program, so you can actually go online. You can send it and pay your bill there. So basically, tourists who come in here visa free, once you extend their 30-day visa, may do so online. And that came out in December. You might double check on that, make sure that it's actually working. It's like the left hand and right hand thing I was saying. Uh, I know that I know last year it was really important. She made it very clear to me that you have to do it online. And so I was really adamant about it. I tried scheduling in December. It wasn't working at all then. Then I just tried to schedule today. I scheduled an appointment, but it was in Manila. It just automatically took me to Manila. But long story short, apparently we don't need one anyway anymore. So we just go there. Now that I took a picture, I took a picture, I took a picture. So when I get to CDO, whenever I do decide to go, I have to go by March 1st. I will pay the fee. It's 310 pesos, $6, $7, and extend that. And so it's $6 or $7 a year now for me to stay on the 13A. Now, the 13A is really good to have. The thing about the 13A, the positive thing about 13A, it gives you multiple entries in and outside the country. You're on it. Your wife has sponsored you. Just like the Visa GS, I've sponsored my wife. The thing about it is, though, if something happens, she passes, or something happens in the relationship, you guys split up, you have to go to a different visa. So, for an example, you have to um, find other SRV, the permanent military, medical. There's many visas to choose from. So you have to make that decision. Sometimes people are decided after even they're married on 13A, they change it to the SRV because it does give them benefits. For an example, if you're thinking about buying property or thinking about purchasing a condo, you can actually take the deposit they require and put down on it, and it actually helps relieve some of the stress and some of the money that you have to put down on a condo. Now, two, uh, the good thing about the visas now is it seems to be opening up, and it does seem to be easier. Some of the guys are telling me that they've gone there. Now, back in, depends what office. A guy told me he just scheduled his in Davao online, and I told him this morning, I said I couldn't do mine online, and he might be back. That's strange. So he sent me a copy of his and his appointment, the whole 9 yards. So apparently, I guess he was able to do it, and now, and I don't know why the system would let him do it, and I can't schedule it. And now I read online in May of last year, March or May last year, they completely eliminated it, so we don't have to go. Omer's getting a Baffy, and he's not excited about it. He's sitting here. He's sitting here. These dogs are smart. They're very smart. She grabbed a towel and started going outside. And she said, "Come on, let's go outside," because he's always run door. And he says, "Nope, I know you're going to give me a shower, and I'm not happy about it." So these dogs are really intelligent. But I also said that to my friend this morning. He said it was really easy for him there in Davao. He just got in. I had to show a valid vaccine card, of course, sign in, and then they processed him within 10, 15 minutes. He said it was really easy this time. Used to it was a headache. We changed from going to Davao to CDO because their waiting times there in Davao for us at those particular times were long, long and meaning you can wait sometimes as long as an hour to get a simple tourist visa extension, and it was really a headache. We also checked about getting my 13A there, and the requirements there were way different than the requirements in CDO. There in Davao, we had to go get a medical and things like that, and scheduling a medical is very hard because there's only a select few doctors you could go to. They take a x-ray scan of your chest and multiple things. So we went to the doctor in Davao and ended up waiting almost 2 hours for the doctor, and said, we got it, we're just going to eliminate this is not worth it. So I ended up going to CDO and got referred to another doctor to do the same thing, and because CDO says, well, we don't necessarily require it, but they're going to make it start requiring it, you might as well go ahead and go get the medical anyway. And of course, if I was 3 months earlier, I could have got it without the medical. Go figure. Isn't it amazing? Different offices, different things. So we went to the doctor's office there, and as you know, we had no car, but we're there, and we waited 3 hours for the doctor to come, and no doctor arrived. We were in his office. He had multiple patients. He just didn't come in. I don't know. I said, is it the hospital? This is, I don't know. Is he at home? I don't know. Did you call him? No. Well, does he show up when he wants to show up? Yes. Okay. Is he going to show up today? Yes. When? Don't know. So you have to ask all these questions. I should have asked the questions when I entered the building, and then that would have offset a lot of problems later on if I would just said, hey, is he coming back? Because there was not just me there, there was 2, 3 other Americans there in the same situation and some regular patients of his. And so we're all decided, why are we sitting here? So we all got up and left. I say we all the Americans that were there got up and left. The Filipino stayed because they don't mind sitting and staying for hours. Now, no aircon. It's hot in his office. It was really hot in his office. Closed building, no fans, nothing. It was literally, I don't know, it was too hot. Including the secretary, sweating. So I said, just get out of here. Let's just to go. So after a while, they eliminated that part, and we didn't have to have it. They eventually said, okay, you don't have to have a medical. So that's when I started applying for the visa. Well, it was mandatory. It was during the COVID time. They actually made us apply. You couldn't extend tourists anymore, and they actually made us apply for the 13A. We had no choice in the matter. So most Americans that didn't want to apply for a 13A had to apply if you're married or an SRV. And it was a mandatory situation. During that time, we were actually, we went there after it was COVID. Ruth had to go get my visas extended, okay? And we paid the fee. I could not go because 60 and above was not allowed out. They were having checkpoints, and if you were 60 above and they checked your passport, they'd send you back home. Because the checkpoints at that particular time were very strict. I mean, they had them at the end of the streets. It was all blocked. So I said, okay. But when I got the availability to go out and I went to go pay my dues, I walked in there and I said, okay. They said, okay, we submitted your forms. You need to pay 48,000 peso for overstay. Your overstay. How can I be overstay? Because you told me that I was this. The guy behind me says, you're lucky. I have to pay 67,000 peso. And the guy walked in, he said, I just paid 122,000 peso. And he said, I'm still so furious about it, I can't see straight. So I said, okay. Oh, how much? So I said, okay, here's the credit card. Go see if you can pull it out. I had like, I don't know, 25,000 peso in my wallet. And they only limit you 20,000 to pull out the bank. Even though my credit card will let me pull out 1,000 a day. I set the limits on that. I can pull out 5,000 a day anywhere in the world except here in the Philippines. So I said, okay, so what do we do? And they said, well, you pay this and you can start processing your visa and all this other stuff. You got to take care of this. Where is your letter of consideration to do this and this, that? And I said, it's right here. So as we're sitting there, and I'm furious. And I wanted to tell this story a long time ago, and now's the opportunity for me to tell it. I don't know if anybody will watch it to the end, but there you go. But I paid the money, and reluctantly, I had to pay it because go to the next step on 13A. From that time that I paid that fee, a year and a half, maybe a year and a half, maybe longer, maybe 2 years. I don't know. It was a long time. I finally got it. Then I had to go through a year probationary. So a year probationary, you can't leave, you can't go, you can't do anything. You have to stay in the country. It's 1 year inside the country. And went through that process. Went through 2 interviews after. We had to do it before we submitted the paper, interview after the visa, and then I had a 3rd interview with the gentleman stating, okay, how is it here? How are you doing in your relationship? What's going on? And he asked me, 15, 20 minutes. Really nice guy, really great guy, and said, okay, do you have any problem with people in the office? No, everybody's been really nice. And he said, do you have any problems? I said, well, I was really upset about paying those fees. He said, you're not the only one. You're the 3rd guy who told me that. He says, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about that, but that comes from Manila. And I said, I understand, but I said, it's just a principle of thing. I said, you don't think about paying $1,000 for something, or $900 at that time is what it was. But we got through it, and everything is fine. I know I'm rambling on, but I had to tell this story because some people asked me about it. How hard was it? Now it's so much easier. A friend of mine is already now, he applied, turned in his paperwork. He's on probationary within 90 days of being here. Well, I have to be here 6 months, but 90 days. Now he's already started the process where he can go, and a year from now he'll have his 13A, where it took me 4.5 years to have mine. I don't know. It's just the principle of thing and how it worked out. Of course, COVID really threw a wrench in everything. God bless everybody, and thank you so much for always watching. So I'll see you guys next time.